this video, I'll convert a 40-foot school bus into a luxurious house fully equipped with all the necessities you can imagine. This is a famous American YouTuber known for his crazy projects on YouTube, but this is the biggest and most expensive project he's ever done in his life, taking more than a year to complete. It's a difficult project that's hard to believe, but he's actually been facing difficulties for a year due to the high prices in frame and installed aluminum windows, which are excessive rent costs. Something very frustrating, so he bought a complete school bus. And this bus is huge. Its size is really enormous. But this is what will make it the perfect house, especially since it's working perfectly and has no problems. Let me tell you, its speed is 70 miles per hour. When the bus first arrived at the house, there was a lot of work to do. The first thing was to remove 28 seats from the bus. It was enormous, full of seats that needed to be removed. So he began removing all these seats with his fiancée. While the seats were being removed, let me explain to you how crazy this project will be. The first step in the modification is to cut the roof and raise it to increase the bus's height by about 120 cm. This part is one of the most important and beautiful modifications because it will allow us to design the house with 2 floors instead of 1, as we'll see later. The roof inside will be 9 feet high. This will make the roof the highest ever raised on any bus on YouTube. The first thing they did was remove the metal roof and get rid of the old insulation. After making sure the roof was removed, all the windows, a very large number of windows, needed to be removed. This is usually the floor of the school bus, usually filled with seats and windows. He still hadn't finished removing these windows when he had an idea, and this is the reason that in all his videos, you'll find windows approximately in all the places he films. All windows were successfully removed. And focus, you'll find the bus currently in its scary shape, and he's joking, telling him, "I feel like I'm in a zombie bus." After that, he came to the important task that's very difficult and almost impossible, raising the roof. And he designed wooden jacks or supports, as we call them in the Arab world, to be placed on the sides of the bus to help them raise the bus safely and balanced. They cut the roof completely as if opening a box lid. While they were raising the roof, you'll find them going to the support, raising it a bit, then going to the support next to it, raising the same amount, and this is because their number was small and the roof was very heavy. Of course, you'll notice here that the roof actually started to move. The process took a very long time to get right, but in the end, they succeeded, as you can see. The surprise is not only that, but the bus's length will still increase by another foot. And here, after finally reaching the full height, it was clear how huge the bus would be. But now the number one task for them was to remove the jacks from the place because any slight movement could cause the roof to fly off, so it had to be quickly secured using iron expanders. They secured the expanders by attaching them in the middle of the window rails that had been cut in half before. After that, they were welded together. They worked on this process all night until daylight came. In the end, it was successfully completed, thank God, and without sleeping, they continued working on installing the walls or the bus's skeleton. Because of this, they used screws and metal panels and secured these panels to the columns that had been welded before. With all this work, the bus became a solid structure and ready for shaping. As you can see, the difference is very clear between before and after. The height increased by about 3.5 meters completely from the floor to the roof after we finished the walls. Let's move on to installing the floor, and the beginning was by placing a thick layer of plastic to prevent water from entering the bus. After that, they added 3 inches of foam insulation, which will protect the bus from any moisture or humidity, and provides a very strong insulation layer above the foam. They placed thick wooden panels which work as a subfloor or actual floor, which makes the floor stable and doesn't shake whenever someone walks on it. After that, they moved on to finishing the walls. Of course, it won't be covered with sheet metal or the iron that exists. This supports the walls with wood. First, they used metal screws to secure the wood to the columns that we welded before. And the place in front of you now is the front door. He starts to widen the place for it and uses a rocket to cut a place for the door in the iron sheet. And he raises the wooden door for him, and Shai stands to secure the door. If you look here, you'll notice that the old shape of the bus has completely disappeared, and its shape became very different. The internal layout will be imaginary. Really, it will have a bedroom, and above it a desk and a complete bathroom, and also a second bedroom in the upper floor. The part that is currently being worked on establishing its foundation is the second room, which is actually a small upper loft, or what we used to call it in the Arab world, the loft. And the structure that supports the upper roof here will also be responsible for separating the driver's room completely and converting it to a separate room from the rest of the bus. After that, they prepared a flat roof, unlike most bus conversions that are usually with a curved roof. And the curved roof has a nice shape, but Shai preferred more that the bus be similar to a normal house, so he made the roof flat, as you can see. After that, he began working on establishing the bathroom, which will have a toilet, sink, and shower at full size. And here, he cut a place for the bathroom's roof, and explained this part in detail as well, for a while. At the end of the bus, they allocated the space for the main bedroom and the deck. The back part of the bus will be downstairs. The upper floor will be the desk, and currently they are installing the floor and installing foundations and columns for the walls from wood. And these foundations that we will place on the walls after that. Currently, the father is busy installing windows in the kitchen. The area they are in from the bus will now be the living room, and it will have a kitchen too, so light must enter it nicely. At this time, Shai was now filming a second video, and Kobe was helping him with it. The father took on this task alone. He started cutting with a rocket the place for the window. There will be 2 large windows in the kitchen. Here, he made them a wooden consider better because they insulate sound and heat better than wooden windows. Installing the windows was completed, and the result was really wonderful, and its shape is very beautiful. And now the new challenge is installing the huge water tanks under the bus. Any converted bus or mobile home will have 3 types of water tanks: fresh water tank, gray water tank, and the black tank. The fresh water tank is what feeds the entire house with clean water, and the gray water tank is where water from the sink and shower is collected, while the black tank is where waste and toilet water are collected. Generally, according to Google, the average size of the black tank in RVs comfortably ranges between 15 and 50 gallons. But Shai installed here a tank with a capacity of 200 gallons. Their size is very large, but this means that he uses the tank for about 250 miles before needing to empty it again. As for the fresh water tank, it held 100 gallons, and the same for the gray water tank. Shai also installed the tanks. All the tanks were wrapped in wood, as you can see. After that, he began working on the foundations of all the plumbing. Plumbing is one of the most difficult stages generally in construction, and it shows the skilled craftsman is always more about the foundation than the finish. But you'll be surprised here that they made the plumbing's foundation very precisely. And this was the last step for us before moving to insulation using foam. In this stage, the bus actually started to take a new shape. Windows were installed, air conditioners were installed, and electrical connections were completed. But believe me, all this doesn't come close to what's next after the foam insulation. The result became something else completely. We still haven't done the interior finishing, which I think will be imaginary. And here Shai revealed the real goal of the project is that for 6 years, Shai has been engaged to his fiancée, Kelsey, and currently he intends, after finishing converting the bus, to take her to the sea and propose to her at the end of the video. And this will be their new home that they will live in after that. This is undoubtedly one of the most emotional things that exist on YouTube. And I plan to present content like this a lot. And God willing, you won't find anything like it on the scene. I hope you are part of the Knights. Subscribe to the channel and tell me your opinion on this content. Generally, currently, we will cover the bus completely with drywall panels or hanging wood. And the first thing he installed was Kobe installing the first panel in the living room or the kitchen. They then moved to the hall, which was much more difficult because the area is narrow or all curves. And after several attempts, they cut the panel in the shape of the roof, and using a support, they hung the panel above. And this support is important because if the panel is left like this, it will fall. But the support will keep holding it until it sticks to the roof. After they finished the area of the living room and kitchen, they were able to open a large number of openings for hidden lighting that will be installed in the roof to make the bus very bright, especially since after about 2 months of working in a dark bus, finally light entered the entire place. They were going to move the storage, but the kitchen walls still hadn't been worked on. They worked on them a bit and installed panels around the small window here. And then they moved to the area that has the 2 large windows to make them after that. Then they began building the storage so they could finish installing the kitchen walls and finish the area around the door. Or that. And now Kobe was finishing in the laundry room and the end of the hall so they could begin installing the stairs and then the bedroom, the main one. And at the same time, Shai was closing the driver's area until he installs the door in this area. When he was designing the bus interior, he left a space above the bathroom 9 feet high. This will give him a large storage space, and he lives in the bus. And more importantly, it's a place excellent for placing a dehumidifier. And this was the shape of the device after he placed it above. Let me explain to you why this device is necessary when you live in a bus or small home. Generally, one of the problems that you will face is humidity. And simply, humidity is the amount of water present in the air, usually. Air conditioners handle this issue. But in the bus here, the space is very small to the point that air conditioners will stop what? They won't carry all the humidity present in the air. And if the percentage of humidity or water in the air exceeds its limit, it can lead to mold growth and many health problems. For this, a dehumidifier device was something very necessary, especially in this project. They also took their time installing a ventilation system for the kitchen and bathroom, and then they directed these pipes to the exterior part of the bus. After all this, finally they will install the bathroom roof, and currently, the task is to convert all this mess in front of you to an imaginary bathroom. The father began working on insulating the bathroom, and this, of course, because it's the most place that was exposed to water. And this is the enjoyable part. He installed a complete layer of water-resistant insulation in every area of the shower. Of course, the shower is one of the most important parts of the bus here, because if it's not installed properly, it will cause many problems later. After that, this shower has a very good size and not narrow at all. And its shower head was double, and controls were double. And he installed double shower heads and also added a small shelf in the wall to place shampoo and most of these things. And while the father was working in the bathroom, he was working at the back of the bus, was adding the desk and the loft roof, and made the roof here curved, not flat like the rest of the bus, to increase the space and at the same time be in an area that takes the character and feeling of the bus a bit. But the place here was still dark, so he dug places for hidden locks. They wanted the entire bathroom to come outstanding and be taking the shape of fingers, Ma. So for this, they used the same shiny tiles everywhere. And after they finished the bathroom, it was time